the importance of a spiritual guru, we have to keep on reminding ourselves, because if God has not brought in touch with a spiritual preceptor, a guru, we would not know that he is within, and we should become aware of his presence. That is why the importance for spiritual preceptors. In India, there is a day called Guru Purnima Day. It falls on the third of next month. Why it is considered very important, That is the day on which we remember the spiritual preceptor who made us to start knowing that God is within. Otherwise, we were searching him for without. And he is with us. Yesterday, the mother's quotation. Now, mother said yesterday, God breathed life into man, and that very life which he breathed into you is his very self. Do you not know that he is there within you every moment, on the throne of your consciousness, on the altar of your heart? It is he who speaks to you, he who guides you, he who directs you, he who gives you the thoughts you think, he who clothes you, feeds you, and make it possible for you to have the intelligence and energy to do whatever you want to do. He and he alone. So this, we got it through a spiritual preceptor. So that is very important. So that is why symbolically we offer our homage to them by offering a flower at their holy feet. All gurus are same, in the sense, though in different physical bodies, in order to cater the requirement of his manifold creations, he has come out in the form of various gurus. There is only one guru who is coming out in various forms. So on the Guru Purnima day, the custom, the tradition in India is, everybody will go to the Gurusthan, if possible. Otherwise, in their own place, they will remember him, or a group of devotees will join together to express our gratitude and to pray to them to make our spiritual journey more and more intense. When we say spiritual journey, we are trying to harmonize spirituality with our usual common run of life. Not moving away from it, harmonizing it with it. So the spiritual preceptor keeps on giving us tips, clues, hints how to do this. So with that bhavana, we offer the flower at the holy feet of our Guru and pray to him to bless us with speedy realization of his presence within us, so that all our thoughts, words and deeds will have the stamp of love. God stands for love, so it will bear the stamp of love in all that we do, in all that we think, in all that we talk. So with that bhavana, Ramnam will be going on. Everyone will come one by one, take the flower and offer that. Hari Om.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai.
Please come. The Almighty Lord of the Universe, out of his bounteous love for all of us, has provided this spiritual retreat to make us aware of his presence behind every thought, every word, every deed. And not only he is within us, he is also in every creation. In Bhagavad Gita there is a shloka where he says, everybody is in me, I am not in them particular. That means in a big vessel, in this room, so many are there, no? But the room does not get affected. But at the same time, it provides. Similarly, he is the whole in which all of us exist. Expansion. Spirituality is nothing but expansion. So the moment we come to realize his presence within us, we will expand. We will come out of the cage of me and mine. It is the toughest job for all of us, because right from our childhood, we have not been told so. So at some stage when we hear through our spiritual preceptors, though we agree, we have faith in their word, we respect their words, but to move towards the direction, it becomes very, very strenuous. So in good old days, it might be there here also because the climate is same. We are talking about Wayanad, a hill station where we had in our childhood days. It is very, very cold, 2,000, 3,000 feet away from the sea level. That was the elevation. So early morning, especially during winter, the vehicle will not get started. So normally, we get into the vehicle, start the vehicle, move the vehicle. But when he puts crack, that sound will come. Then he will look at somebody and everybody will come. They push the vehicle and get it started. So when it refuses to get started, we use the other way. Similarly, we have been asked to feel the indwelling reality within ourselves and then love everybody. It seems to be a tough job. So we will see the other way. Loving everybody and then trying to become aware of him. This is the background. So how do we expand? Papa here says, the life principle that activates all being is the same. We all breathe the same air, walk on the same earth, and are equally entitled to the enjoyment of the amenities which nature provides. The earth yields its rich gifts to all alike. So also all the creature comforts, including the language gifted by society, different languages. The differences between man and man on the material plane are in truth unnatural and improper. Because the component parts and the composition of human bodies and the qualities inherent in them are not diverse and conflicting. If we look with the pure vision that belongs to an enlightened mind, we do not see any clear-cut line of demarcation that isolates man from man, one set of people from another, one nation from another. We are indeed parts of a stupendous whole, WHOLE. We are units that form the world community or family. So we can live and act as members of a world brotherhood and federation. Here one Upanishad says, Ayam nija paroveti ganana laguchetasam udara charidanam tu vasudaiva kutumbakam. This is the Sanatana Dharma preachers. Consideration like he is mine and he is another's occur only to the narrow-minded person. To the broad-minded person, the whole world is one family. So true religion or spirituality therefore signifies the linking of the individual soul with the cosmic soul, The soul does not belong to any caste, creed, race, or nationality. Its nature is universal. Inherently, it is pure, enlightened, free, blissful. And the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is our Guru or God. Now, when we read this, some manana is necessary. Anybody in Alaska, in Seattle, in the various states in the United States, South America, Europe, Asia, he says, component parts and the composition of human bodies are one and the same. Everyone needs the heart. Everyone needs breathing. Everyone needs blood circulation. Everyone needs digestive organs. Everyone needs the 5 organs of action, 5 organs of perception. Everyone needs a mind, intellect. Think wherever we are. So this is how we try to understand. And then the nature, provides the vegetable grown here and the vegetable grown in Kanjangad, same. First it starts with the air. We all breathe the same air. That itself gives us the clarity, So spirituality enables us to suddenly become aware of this truth. This is not a theory or a dogma or a dictum. It is a reality about which we have not applied our mind, that's all. Because nobody told us. Not that they did not want to tell us, it did not strike to them. Nowadays we feel this should be the first starting point in education. I owe everything to this. This will only pave the way for me to develop the right relationship with the entire creation. Whether it is a material science or spiritual science, both people who have reached the height, plumbed deep and brought out various revelations, none of them specified the beneficiaries. So how to understand this Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? The world is one family. So far I have been thinking about me and mine. It is okay, for Vyavaharika reason, me and mine will be there. But I must know that I am a part of the whole. This finger is different from this chin. This chin is different from the eye. Eye is different from the ear. This is different from the legs. All these are independent, agreed. But it belongs to the whole body. Apparently there are differences. Everybody will not be the same. But how do we understand they are the stupendous whole? The beautiful word that, we are indeed parts of a stupendous whole, WHO. Each one has contributed. Each one has a role to perform. Then only it becomes a total humanity. When I isolate from rest of the people, I am not a worldly citizen. When I start recognizing the commonness in everything, then I slowly start thinking what is the principle behind this. the activating principle, the activating factor. First is we go directly into this. Spiritual scientists, they plumbed deep, they withdrew from the common run of life, they went inside and declared that I am basically, essentially, intrinsically nameless, formless, nirguna, nirakara, nirvikara, shashwata, ananda swarup. No? Nameless, formless, free from all attributes, and eternal peace, eternal joy am I. And then they declared, we are unable to grasp because our me and mind does not permit us easily to engage in this dialogue and go inside. So the material scientists, God prompted them to bring out various creature comforts, to dig out so many truths behind all five elements. They are the rudimentary, base material for every creation, including our body. Panchendriya Mahabhudam Sambhavam Karma Sanchitam. This body is made up of five elements. So like that, everything is a modification of this. So the material scientists, they were able to go deep into all the manifestation. Still they are trying and trying to bring out the common. That is why whatever creature comfort, they put 2 and 2 together, 5 and 6 together, and then they brought out the creature comfort. The laptop or the cadaver or the building or the electricity or specs or dress, whatever we use, everything has been brought out by them and it is available for everybody. So material scientists have helped us to bring out and place it before us. Nature, we have seen, air is available, earth is available, water is available, space is available, sun is available. And so many things deposited under the, even oil, no, crude oil, not only on the surface but also in the deep, in the sea, ocean, offshore drilling, and the so many things, all these things they have brought it out, and it is used by everybody. So as spiritual aspirants, our spiritual preceptors want us to think about it very deeply. We are all parts of one family. We try to find out the commonness in everybody. We have our own preferences and priorities. Everybody has got their own preferences and priorities. We have rights and wrongs. Everybody has got rights and wrongs. We have likes and dislikes. Everybody has got likes and dislikes. Everybody has desires. Yes, everybody has desires. I have desires, everybody has desires. Cravings, infatuation, anything you name, it is common to all, common to all. So we try to list out the common factor in all of us. Every creature is born, every creature dies. Everything passes through, every human being passes through the childhood. Everyone has to be in the form of a seed in mother's womb. Everybody has to be there for 9.5 to 10 months. Everybody comes out. Everybody has the 200 odd organs. In some cases, it is not so. Genetic problem. But by and large, we say the organs are same. And then we, from the childhood to the adolescent stage, adolescent to adult stage, adult to the youth stage, from there to the middle age, then the senior citizens, everybody. Commonness, commonness, commonness. That is why Papa says, if we look with the pure vision that belongs to an enlightened mind, we do not see any clear-cut line of demarcation that isolates man from man, one set of people from another, one nation from another. We are indeed parts of a stupendous whole. We are units that form the world community or family. So we can live and act as members of a world brotherhood or federation. So that is why this slogan. That is why in all our Shanti mantras we say, peace invocations, we end our program with this peace invocation, where the last word should be Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Let the whole world be blessed with bliss and happiness. There are many shlokas. At the end it will be like this. Kale varshadu parjanya prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarahita sajjano santunarbhaya kshemam sarva prajanam. We can keep on quoting slokas. This is a Jain sloga. What do they say? Kshemam sarva prajanam. Let everybody welfare be ensured. Like that, all our prayers, all our scriptures do not specify any cult, any separation whatsoever. Upanishads, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, everything. It embraces the whole creation, not only humanity. So we know it, but we don't give the importance that is due for this aspect. So in our mind as a spiritual aspirant, we should try to simultaneously develop this. How do I become a part of the homogeneous whole, the stupendous whole? And what is my part? Everybody is doing it, but this awareness is not there. That is why they are unable to move from me to we. Prior to coming to ashram on a full-time basis, we were involved in coffee, estate management and production. We produce coffee. Entire production is not consumed by us. So many people are involved in the cultivation process. We don't ask which religion they belong. Different types, believers, non-believers, all will be there. Everybody struggles. We use machines also. We don't know that machine was brought by who to the world. We don't know that. The huller, for example. The tools. Various types of cultural operations are necessary to produce coffee. We don't know that. And then we produce coffee. There is a process by which from the berry level it comes to the seed level, and then we give to the buyers. And many go for export, many go for internal consumption. We don't know who are all the consumers. So our product, we get a living because somebody is there to consume. A producer, the interlinked, if I start thinking, without the consumer, the producer cannot. In between, there is another segment, trader. No? The producer, through the trader, reaches out to the consumer. Are we not interlinked? Can we isolate myself? Right from every act of production up to the selling, we need so many intermediaries to help us to have our living. Similarly, if we start analyzing each and every profession, whether we are working for any consumable stores product manufacturing, or if it is software, or anything, we need these three. A producer should be there, a consumer should be there, and in many cases a trader also should be there. So we are all interlinked, interdependent. Think. We live because of so many other people, they have toiled for us. We say we are given money, we have bought it, that's all. The money cannot give me the food. In the sense, if I eat money, it will not. It has to come in the form of food articles. And food articles come because of the toils of so many innumerable people from innumerable countries. So these are some of the methods by which, by one word, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we have been asked to expand. Because that is the truth, it is not a theory. Today if we have got watermelon, somebody has to produce, Somebody has to produce, somebody has to market it, and somebody has to bring it. We need a vehicle. I did not bring the vehicle when I was born. So the vehicle is also a gift of somebody. A road is a gift of somebody. This may look to be intellectual exercise, but this is the reality. As a spiritual aspirant, we are not telling this to everybody. As a spiritual aspirant, this process, knowing about this reality sets the process of expanding. Anything that we use, suddenly we realize, for certain things we are the producer, for certain things we are the consumer, for certain things we are the intermediary. We are all interconnected, interdependent. So we do not see any clear-cut line of demarcation that isolates man from man, one set of people from another, one nation from another. We are indeed parts of the stupendous whole. We are units that form the world community or family. So we can live and act as members of a world-brotherhood or federation. That is why spiritual scientists and material scientists, they are not confined to any particular sect. We salute them. All their revelations, experiences are for everybody. There may be little aberration in the approach because they have not understood the spiritual preceptor properly, that's all. We remember one incident. You might have heard about Swami Ramdas. He was the disciple of, he got inspired from Swami Vivekananda. And Swami Ramdas, after scaling the heights, on those days there was no, I don't think he was able to move in the aircraft, so he used to travel by ship. He had come to United States, many states, Europe, Japan, everywhere. And somehow somebody was kind enough to jot down all the teaching, words of wisdom that came out of him. And somebody was in a position to compile it. Woods of God Realization. In the Woods of God Realization. 7 volumes. Sometime during 91 or 92, we were all very much inspired by going through it. So we thought we would translate it into Malayalam, a few articles. But normally, the copyright will be there. So we somehow started searching for Swami Ramdas some foundation. Finally we got their address. We wrote a letter. You know what the reply was? It is a big reminder for us. Rama is yours. You have as much right to him as we have the right. In this great land, United States, there is a highly evolved soul called Peace Pilgrim. The admirers were kind enough to put it in a small book, a wonderful book, inspiring book. It gives a lot of clarity on various spiritual aspects. Somehow God willed that it should come to us, and then we started. There's a story behind it. We were on our way to Sri Lanka many years back. We made a brief stopover at Coimbatore. There was Satsang program in one devotee's house, and in the night we had to catch a train to Chennai, 9:30 or something. So we were winding up the session and was in a hurry to take a bath and eat something and then rush to the station. Somebody came with a small packet and gave it to us, covered. We said, "What is this?" "It's a book, you will like it." Okay, put it back. Everybody gives books, okay. But when we were inside the train, somehow we were prompted to just at random open. Spirituality in workaday life. In a simple language, directly from the heart. So we were very much inspired by it, and then the moment we reached Chennai, we told our friends, "Can you kindly get 12 copies?" Many of them searched in all the bookstores. By even next day we have to leave to Colombo. So they came and said, "Not a trace of it." Oh, it's all right, Papa's wish. Next day we left. When we reached Colombo, Papa had gone there like here in 54. That was the last leg of his journey. So many people, when they know that somebody has come from Ananda Ashram, they have come there, and everybody brings some fruits or something. Somebody brought one carton also. We asked. So after everybody left, we told our people, "Please open, keep it open, otherwise it will go bad." And when they opened this particular carton, it had 12 books. We still don't know. We started, when we came back to ashram, every day 3:30 to 4:30 we used to share. Anybody who hears, they want a book. So like hot cake, immediately all the 11 books were given. Then what to do now? So somebody came from Dr. Ken, if I remember right. He came from Kentucky. He used to come there regularly. So we told him, "Can you arrange for this? We don't get anywhere in India." Okay, he came here, 200 or 300, he shipped. That was over. Anybody, when we talk to him, when we read something, they will want one copy. So in another 6 months' time, it was again back to square one. So then we requested any devotee coming from States to get this and send. It is still going on, including Deepaji, who organized our trip now. And finally we wrote to them. It is not fair, we thought it's not fair to trouble our devotees often. So we will directly contact them. We contacted them. You know what they said? "We will send you the soft copy, you can print and distribute." Peace Pilgrim is as much as yours as it is for us. And then only we looked at the book. No price. Voluntary donation they may accept. That means world family means one world family. When you say price, otherness is there. But when there is a family, whatever is possible you will give. People who can afford, who cannot afford, they may not pay, that's all. But book is available for everybody. The real concept of peace pilgrim. Swami Chidanji Maharaj used to say, looking at you, the world should know who your Guru is. Looking at you, the world should know who your Guru is. Looking at these people, you were able to understand peace pilgrim. We remember all this because they have all contributed to make us aware of this one family concept. Not that we have reached that stage, but at least we have started recognizing, appreciating, and dwelling on it as much as possible, so that we don't limit. When the question of contact or giving or something like that, we don't limit. So we will again read about... Anybody would like to say anything now? Before we move? The life principle that activates our being is the same. We all breathe the same air, walk on the same earth, and are equally entitled to the enjoyment of the amenities which nature provides. The earth yields its rich gift to all alike. So also all the creature comforts, including the language gifted by society. The differences between man and man on the material plane are in truth unnatural and improper. Why? For the component parts and the composition of human bodies and the qualities inherent in them are not diverse and conflicting. In the Vedantic language we say gunas, There are three types of characteristics in us. One is the passive, the other one is aggressive, the third one is indolent. Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. This is there in everybody, whether we know it or not, whether we understand it or not, recognize it or not. So, the qualities inherent in them are not diverse and conflicting. If we look with the pure vision that belongs to an enlightened mind, we do not see any clear-cut line of demarcation that isolates man from man, one set of people from another, one nation from another. We are indeed part of a stupendous whole. We are units that form the world community or family. We can live and act as members of a world brotherhood and federation. So there is a common factor inside which we have now intellectually understood as the life force. All our sources point out to the same source. Okay, that I am not in a position to understand now. But when I look at the world outside, I find, yes, we are all interdependent, interrelated, interconnected. Think about it. So these are the two ways through which spiritual journey can be undertaken. One is to go within and the other is to go without. Both can also take place simultaneously. Anybody would like to contribute or share anything based on this?
Swamiji, I just have one thing to say is that Yogacharya David met Peace Pilgrim and gave her a ride from one city to the other. I don't know where, but in Washington, in Washington State. Swami Yogacharya David met Peace Pilgrim.
Yeah.
David met her.
David met her, yeah.
Oh.
From Seattle to
Bellingham.
To Bellingham.
She explains everything in a simple way. She has defined, at the last portion, there is a question answer. As I told you, when I opened in the train, the first anecdote that came to our mind. During my travels, a saloon keeper called me into his tavern to give me some food, and while I was eating, he asked, "How do you feel in a place like this?" She replied, "I know that all human beings are God's children. Even when they are not acting that way, I have faith that they could, and I love them for what they could be." See, they spontaneously to come. Even when I know that all human beings are God's children, even when they are not acting that way, I have faith they could, and I love them for what they could be. As I rose to leave, I noticed a man with a drink in his hand and was also on his feet. When he caught my eye, he smiled a little. I smiled at him. "You smiled at me?" I smiled again. "I should think you wouldn't even talk to me, but you smiled at me." I said, "I am not here to judge my fellow human beings." But this is very touching. I am here to love and serve. Suddenly he was kneeling at my feet and saying, "Everyone else judged me, so I defended myself." "You did not judge me, so now I judge myself. I am a no good, worthless sinner. I have been squandering my money on liquor. I have been mistreating my family. I have been going from bad to worse." I put my hand on his shoulder. "You are God's child, and you could act that way." He looked with disgust at the drink in his hand, and then hurled it against the bar, shattering the glass. His eyes met mine. "I swear to you, I will never touch that stuff again." He exclaimed, "Never!" And there was a new light in his eyes as he walked through the door with steady steps. I even know the happy ending of the story. About a year and a half later, I heard from a woman in the town. She said, as far as everyone knows, the man kept his promise. He never touched liquor again. He now has a good job. He is getting along well with his family and has joined the church. When you approach others in judgment, they will be on the defensive. When you are able to approach them in a kindly, loving manner, without judgment, they will tend to judge themselves and be transformed. And the next one, and the boy. These are the two ones which I opened and saw. That was the one which prompted us to share this with everybody. Once, this was the second one, on the night in the train. Once I was hit by a disturbed teenage boy whom I had taken for a walk. He wanted to go hiking, but was afraid he might break a leg and be left lying there. Everyone was afraid to go with him. He was a great big fellow, looked like a football player, and he was known to be violent at times. He had once beaten his mother so badly that she had to spend several weeks in the hospital. Everybody was afraid of him, so I offered to go with him. As we got up to the first hilltop, everything was going fine. Then a thunderstorm came along. He was very terrified because the thunder shower was very close. Suddenly he went off the beam, came for me, hitting at me. I did not run away, although I guess I could have. He had a heavy pack on his back, but even while he was hitting me, I could only feel the deepest compassion towards him. How terrible to be so psychologically sick that you would be able to hit a defenseless old woman. She saw the psychologically sick, not an individual. It comes out of love only, How terrible to be so psychologically sick that you would be able to hit a defenseless old woman. I bathed his hatred with love, even while he hit me. As a result, the hitting stopped. He said, you did not hit back. My mother always hits back. The delayed reaction, because of his disturbance, had reached the good in him. Oh, it is there. No matter how deeply it is buried. And he experienced remorse and complete self-condemnation. Next line, what are a few bruises on my body in comparison with the transformation of a human life? To make a long story short, he was never violent again. He is a useful person in this world today. So, in order that we try to get out of the cage of me and mine, the experiences shared by spiritually evolved souls will surely help us. Because it is not a theory or a dictum or a dogma. It is their very experience. And these people did not come straight from the sky. They were also born to parents like all of us. They were living in the society like all of us. So it is not that, we need extra some magical siddhi or something like no. And if you go through her, how the blossoming took place, it's wonderful.
Is that one, the story about the teenage boy that was peace pilgrim?
Both of them are peace pilgrim.
Oh.
We thought we would also share some anecdotes because we are all in the practical field. This expansion. How does it get expanded? Papa says the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. So some of the anecdotes which help us to put us on expansion, we will share.
Example for details.
Right. In Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Song Celestial, there are about 18 chapters with 700 shlokas. But there is the 12th chapter. In the 12th chapter, the Lord defines who is my dearest devotee. Many of us think that if we go to temples, if you worship the idol, if you observe certain austerities, if we visit certain holy places, if you go to spiritual centers, ashrams, meet Mahatmas, go through their wisdom teachings, we all feel, we have become devotees of God. No. Just like when you appear for an interview, the resume, what do you call it? First you have to give that and then there will be an interview. If they are primarily satisfied, you have got the basic qualification. Previously that was one-to-one interview, now it is online interview. Yeah.
Online, one-to-one, many things.
So that means whether you are qualified, fit one for that particular job. No? So here, if we keep on tom-tomming that I am God's devotee, that he will not accept. He has put certain things. If you measure up to that, live up to that, you become a qualified devotee. In 7 shlokas, he brings it out. So when we went through that, we may feel it is not possible for us. It is reserved for only certain people. No. If it is only for certain people, we are not interested. Whatever is possible for everybody, that we are interested. So with that perspective, when we looked at these 7 slokas, we found, yes, we will read the slokas, and before that, a word about Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is a veritable mosaic of eternal wisdom. It has not left unsolved a single problem pertaining to the conduct of human life, both in its spiritual and physical spheres. For the highest truths of philosophy, and also for a perfect light on the practical side of life, one has to go to this great work. The message of the Gita is to reveal the harmony and identity of the soul with God and God with nature. So the purpose of the Gita is to proclaim that human life is essentially divine, spiritually, mentally, physically. Its one aim is to prove that spirit and matter are one and the same. Activity in the world, whatever form it might take, as circumstances and conditions demand, is not a thing to be shunned or renounced. What is needed is to divinize the life through the attainment of freedom from the individual sense by the mergence of it into God, who is at once the soul, the universe, and the all-transcendent, all-inclusive truth. This is the introduction he gives. It is addressed to the man on the field, not on the man in the cave. Actual, practical life.
Papa, could you tell us, in the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna and Arjuna are on the battlefield, can you tell us about that? Because Arjuna is having such a horribly difficult time and almost like having a nervous breakdown over what Lord Krishna is asking him to do when he's going to go to war against his own family.
There's a lot of confusion when Krishna asks Arjuna to go against his own family. So can you give some clarity on that?
It starts with, I will read this, then we will come to that.
Okay.
One of the first steps could be to feel that the whole scene at the Kurukshetra battlefield and the characters play there are in the minds of every one of us. Lord Krishna stands for the indwelling reality. Arjuna represents the sense of individuality. Kauravas denote the negative and downpulling forces. Pandavas symbolize the positive and elevating forces. And finally, the field of Kurukshetra is the world of everyone, within and without. Okay, at the story level, if the society has to exist, when he brought out the creation, he also brought out various dharma, various code of conduct. Otherwise the society will not exist by itself. And when there is any violation, any dilution, any aberration on the values, it has to be dealt with. That is the nature. Just like we have a body, where diseases will come. Do we keep quiet? We take medicine, antibiotics, to keep those that are troubling us, A particular organ becomes defective, we remove it. In extreme sugar patients, when the gangrene is set, that portion is removed. Apparently it is a wild act, it's a cruel act. But that is the nature. So, though we have our own body, in this body itself, just now you heard, in 1 second, 1.2 trillions of red blood cells are born and die. Are born and they die. So the creation and the annihilation are concomitant. It will be there in everything. So here he picturized, there is the rightful share of Pandavas. It was denied by Kauravas. So it has to be established. Finally, they tried their level best. Krishna was the mediator. Finally, they were prepared to settle for 5 houses. That also Duryodhana refused. The other man refused. So naturally, war became inevitable. So Arjuna, when he came on the battlefield, he forgot about the rights for which the war is. They are not enemies. It is for a rightful cause he has to establish the right, dharma. But when he went there, he was deluded by, oh, I am going to fight with my teachers, my brothers, my cousins, and I am going to kill them, I don't want them. So he got the delusion, and then the Lord gave an exhaustive explanation about the various aspects of life and the need for us to view it from 2 angles. One at the static level. There, as you said, nothing will be there. That also he deals with. The other one at the vyavaharik level. That means the worldly level. So what is to be done? And that is the theme of Bhagavad Gita. It is not that he has asked him to fight. No doubt he asked him to fight. In one sloga, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmari vidyacha. Therefore remember me and in all places at all times, the battle of life. Remember me in the battle of life. So like that, suppose we try to take it out from the 4 walls of that Puranic story and then we take them in, then we find that it is directly addressed to us. We, the sense of individuality, Arjuna, is getting, when I get confused, I go to him and I ask him. He gives me the explanation. And in the 18th chapter he said, all my doubts have been cleared. And then he takes it. So that is the background. So, the purpose of the Gita is to proclaim that human life is essentially divine, spiritually, mentally, physically. Its one aim is to prove that spirit and matter are one and the same. Activity in the world, whatever form it might take as circumstances and conditions demand, is not a thing to be shunned or renounced. What is needed is to divinize life through the attainment of freedom from the individual sense, by the mergence of it into God, who is at once the soul, the universe, and that all-transcendent, all-inclusive truth. However, what is happening now, in our case, is that the sense of individuality in us, oblivious of the substratum, namely the indwelling reality, tries to find a sense of fullness or joy in the outer life. Outer life means family life, professional life, social life, by retaining its separate identity. Just now we said, expansion. Here starts the cobweb of challenges, duties, commitments, anxieties, stress, uncertainties, discomfort, discontentment, and the like. Many a time they lead to frustration, dejection, dispiritedness, depression. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita awakens the truth in us, that only by understanding first and realizing later that there is a superpower named the indwelling reality, God, who is behind all creatures and situations, we will be able to free us from all limitations. In other words, our effort should be to know that the superpower has assigned the role for every one of us in this world Leela, and nothing is really initiated by us. This theme is repeatedly brought out by Lord Krishna throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So this is the background, and there are so many. And in the 12th chapter, as we said, We will skip slokas, one or two we will say, okay.
Swamiji,
Ah,
I have a question.
question.
So, starting with this morning, when we look at the world and intellectually we know it's real. I mean, it's real and divine and God's manifestation, etc. But I personally have trouble treating everyone well.
Right?
Personal trouble. Everything is God's manifestation, I understand. But I personally have trouble treating everybody as one. It's coming out.
Right,
I have trouble.
He finds it
because
difficult.
I feel I would be false to myself. And it's caused me some trouble in my life, but essentially, I'm happy. So the thing is, it doesn't all gel. You know what I mean? It creates a conflict within me, because sometimes I feel like saying, oh, but most of the time I don't. Feel like saying, oh.
That is the problem, not only for
The
you, for
problem
everybody.
is that it's not, what's the problem? It's not according to what we heard this morning. I just want to finish. It's not exactly,
Huh?
it's not the common way of doing it. The common way is to be nice.
Always?
You are talking with respect to Bhagavad Gita or?
No, I'm talking about what we talked about this morning.
Okay.
It bubbled up.
Okay. It was not clear. Can you repeat what you said to understand? We did not understand what you said properly. Can you please repeat? Can you please repeat?
So, can I elaborate? My feelings, not yours.
She's going to elaborate her feelings, not yours.
Loud,
No,
loud.
but they relate to him.
You'll have to speak
Louder,
little
he
louder.
doesn't hear well.
You can speak little louder.
I have a soft voice, sorry.
We'll be like the megaphone.
No, you can come ahead.
Come ahead.
So,
Yeah.
my
Come on,
dilemma
friend.
is that I can appreciate we are all part of one family. I can appreciate that intellectually. I try and internalize it. However, I also know there is right action and there's wrong action. And I can't live my life accepting bad action. So in other words, if someone wanted to hurt someone else, I can't just sit back and say, okay, hurt them, kill them. I can't do that.
She can intellectually understand that the whole world is one family, but there's some right actions and some wrong actions. If somebody does wrong actions, she cannot sit idle, allow that wrong action to happen. Correct? Am I understanding correct?
Yes.
If I miss
No.
something, please tell. Thank you.
Gita does not say that we should keep quiet.
Right.
Papa used to say in a simple word, God prompts somebody to steal. God prompts the policeman to catch him. God prompts the judge to pronounce judgment and punish him. So whatever prompting he gives, we have to act. We should not confuse. The same God is within, whatever prompting you get, you will also act. The only thing is, we are not taking over the ownership.
Yes. Yes. I accept that.
Everything is valid. Whatever we do is valid. Just like when we have got a disease, we don't keep quiet. We take medicine, we remove. Antibiotic means it removes all the other poisonous bacteria. So we do all these things for our maintenance. So similarly, he makes us to react. He provides us the field to act, proact, react. All these things are done by him only. And we have to do that. That is the job he has assigned to us. That is why he has put this. Otherwise, there is no need for a court. There is no need for police. When he has created, he knows all these things are necessary. The policeman or the judge or the Supreme Court judge or any judges or the constable or sub-inspector or anybody, they are all doing God's job only. Because when he brings out the creation, when he brings out different types of people to act in a different way, He also brought all these things. Not that we did. The same intelligence who prompted a person to steal, the same intelligence prompts the policeman to catch hold. The same intelligence prompts the judge to put him under bar. No? Everything is valid. The only thing is, I am doing it. That goes. I have been asked by him to do it. That is why he said, not shunning, not renouncing any activity. Only the attitude gets changed.
Then how do you change the attitude of the individual?
The only criterion we should have to know ordinary people like us, how do you know that it is God prompting? The one thing, litmus test is, if any of our words, actions or thoughts have got any percentage of vested interest, then it is coming from me. If there is no vested interest, absolutely it is free from selfishness, it is coming directly from you. So that is the benchmark. That means my prejudice should not harm you. Whereas when you are harming others, sorry, not you, when I am harming others, and you are prompted from within to save others, you are 100% justified to give me half a dozen blows or make me to sit quiet. But you should not have any prejudice. You are not acting because of the prejudice or biased views you have on me.
There's a story, an old story of a king fighting an army, and he's almost about to kill the enemy. And the enemy spits on this king. He puts the sword back and says, "Now I'm angry at you, I cannot kill you. Till now I was doing my duty, I had no hatred against you, I was doing my duty as a king. Now when you spit on me, my reaction is my anger towards you. So I stop." It kind of gives some time.
And you were giving us, if I have understood properly, it is nice to read flowery language about world family. At times we understand all these things intellectually, but at times we are not in a position to make it as a reality. Is that so? We feel not comfortable.
Well, the question is, what's the reality? If I feel in my heart that, if I feel in my heart, but really in my heart, to make an action, and if other people looked at it, they would say, well, that's not particularly nice. But what I've been taught is being nice is not sometimes the way you want to go. Is this, am I just being real?
Yeah,
being
actually
real.
What you want to do. Internally you want to do something, but when people look at that action, they say it's not nice. So how do I? There's something real, right? Being real, am I being real, correct? Am I
Right,
correct?
like interrupting here. I sat here and I thought, should I or shouldn't I? Well, I already have, but I've got this burning question from this morning. So maybe it's not nice to do this.
It's okay.
But I feel that this is my question. And you said you have a question, bring it up. So
when we are on the process of trying to realize the common factor in all of us, we are on the journey. That is why this conflict comes. But whereas those who have scaled the heights in their life, we find no such conflicts. So we have to patiently wait to reach that stage where once you get stabilized in that common factor, somebody who is loved, who loves you, you love him or her or your children or somebody. When they do something, what is the norm we do? What do we do for others? So when we see the common factor in them, we accommodate them, we try to bear, and finally we tell them. One father who was not having eyesight, And he and his brother, a son, they were sitting on the outside. And he was sitting there. Suddenly, he heard the chirping of the bird. What is that? He asked. So he said,
Sparrow.
a sparrow. Again, the son started reading, both of them were sitting. Again, after some time, the same sound he heard. What is that? Sparrow. After some time again, third time. Then he said, did I not tell you sparrow, 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 sparrow? The old man simply got up, somehow found his way to his room. Somehow he was able to bring out a diary and then went, sat there with him. So he was still reading some other book. So when he saw, normally somebody has to assist him to do that, but he went and came back. Then he went through the diary on a particular date. He said, read. So there it was written, this same boy, when he was 4 or 5 years old, he asked a question. He said, 21 times he raised that question. Every time he has written, I lovingly answered. Because to him, it was not question answer to the boy. He wanted more and more clarity, authentication, validity. That is why he was asking. The moment he read it, what am I doing? Third time he asked, I shouted at him. So the father had reached that stage. The son is yet to reach that stage. There is goodness in him. He was able to appreciate. But the father did not shout at him back. He did not say, I told you 21 times when you were very young. He did not say that. So what was that? The common factor. The common factor in them. The love for him. Boy does not know, that's all. So when we are on the process, this conflict will come to us. But when we see the life and mission of all, we find they are at ease. So when this conflict comes, we have to again pray and then ask him to give us the guidance. And when they give the guidance, we hold on to it. We don't mean ill of anybody, but we don't say yes to anything that happens. Whatever he prompts. So that is it is an outcome of a sustained spiritual journey, sustained spiritual discipline. That says, just a few hours we said, when Puja Swamiji was asked, how do we maintain? He said, don't react immediately. By that time, you are viewing everything in a comprehensive way, not in one aspect. So you will get back to yourself. So whether you deal with certain things in a comprehensive way, with a comprehensive approach, or in a partial approach, that only you will know. And when you are completely convinced, you will hold on to it. Then there won't be any confusion. Even if somebody comes and says, that was not right action. He said, maybe, to me that was not. We don't say that it should be your right action. That was the prompting I got, I did it. I didn't mean anything bad. The broadening is a painful process, because we have not applied our mind on those lines. So here in the 12th chapter, in the shloka, he tries to bring out values. What are values? Values that help us to identify the common factor in everybody and all contemporary incidents. So first shloka says, Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitra karuna evaja nirmamo nirahankaraha samadukka sukakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchayaha mayarpida manobuddhihi Yomad Bhakta Samepriya. The last line is, such a devotee is dear to me. Such means what? He or she who hates no creature. So the resume should have this. Then only you are qualifying yourself to be the devotee of God. He or she who hates no creature. Is that enough? No. Friendly and compassionate towards all. Who is free from the feelings of I and mine. Even-minded in pain and pleasure. Forbearing. Ever content. Steady in meditation. Self-controlled. One possessed of firm conviction. With mind intellect fixed on me, one who is thus devoted to me is dear to me. Now to understand, he or she who hates no creature. There are so many incidents, but we are only bringing one incident. Mr. Priyadas, the wife of an industrialist. These are all from different sources. What had happened? The wife of an industrialist got burgled off her valuables. Morning when she was going for a walk, two youngsters, they came in a bike, snatched her chain. After a couple of days, the police caught the two thieves, who were in their early 20s. Mr. Priyadas and wife were called to the police station and the booty was intact. The police officer asked Priyadas how he would like to deal with them. Instead of feeling animosity toward them, he replied, if they resolve not to resort to such negative activities in future, I am willing to employ them in my factory. And next day they joined the factory. They were released from prison and they joined the factory and they became the most loyal workers of it. So, adveshta sarvabhutanam. Not only to human beings, but also to anything. The other day, I think I was sharing with Lariji and Kate Jama. We were working with a Jain prior to coming to ashram on a full-time basis. He was an embodiment of all these values. He lost his father and fire was getting ready. We were making so many arrangements. He's a well-known person. So many people had come there. But this son, his second son, who is the Jain, I was watching him. He was only interested in ensuring that no ant or termite is there in any of the firewood that is kept for the fire. Every time he sees that, he takes it out, removes it, cleans it, puts it back. Adveshta sarvabhutana. Anything. He will be, both of us will be traveling in our vehicle from place to place. At about 5:30, 6 o'clock when we drive, headlight is on. Flies will be coming, And then it gets stuck in the radiator. Immediately he will stop, jump out, go, save as much as possible from the radiator. So we used to tell him, when you know that when you drive at 6 o'clock, this will happen. And it is impractical, no? To save everybody, save everything. Then he said, we are not justifying, we should not have travelled, but we have to reach, we are in between. Whatever is saved, Yatra ayo atra. So much so good. So these are all the things that is not taught to us. We have seen in practical life. Because this is something, Bhagavad Gita is not a theory, Adveshta sarvabhutana, many, many, many instances. Sarvabhutana means not only human beings. Even we don't do any harm to anything, any creature, knowingly. If at all we do that, we don't justify. We try to pray to him to make us in a stage where we don't do that even. Unknowingly we may be committing, but knowingly we will not. one day, somebody brought honey. It was not in the house. We were in somebody's house. So they said it's pure honey. So he said, we will not take honey. Then they did not compel. When both of us were in the vehicle, we asked, why did you say that you are not taking honey? Then he told me this. Honey bees go to different flowers, collect honey. Before that, they build a beautiful hive. And in that, there are chambers. Then they go and deposit. One fine morning, you and I, more powerful than the honey, we take it away, grab it, without even their knowledge, without even compensating it. So it will have its own karmic effect on us. So we don't take honey. I was thinking to what depth they are going. Similarly, in each and everything, if this is writ large, it percolates into our life slowly. And that's why Papa said, the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience. He makes us to observe certain things, to know that it is possible, it is possible, it is possible. If you are guided by your palate, you will naturally go for that. But if there is when we go to the shop, normally he doesn't wear any chappal. But then we all used to say, wear one chappal at least you buy. Then he will buy. But he will only buy the Hawaii. So I said, why? Leather chaps, we don't use it. Leather chappal. Why? You are not killing any animal. But then he said, I am not directly killing the animal. But leather is made out from a dead animal. If we start encouraging this trade, naturally animals have to be killed. Indirectly we are contributing to it. We don't know the rights and wrong. The mind does not permit us to. So that means so much intense, about this principle. Adveshta sarvabhutana.
Can I ask a question?
Now,
So, say that I brought a jar of honey to you, really as a special gift. I'm going to be hurt
Okay.
if you don't eat the honey. If you eat the honey, the bees are hurt.
So she gives you, with lot of love, she gets you honey. If you don't take it, she's going to be hurt.
I will do
How am I
pranams.
supposed to know
I will do pranams and say sorry.
But it often feels like there's no path forward without something being harmed somehow.
I know.
How do you know what you're supposed to do? Ever.
Now that having come to know, I cannot take it. At the same time, I know I should not wound you. All that I can do is to give you a Sashtanga pranams and tell you, my mind does not permit me to take it. Not that you should do this. To me, that is that. It is not a question of arguing and convincing. It is purely an individual conviction. How you look at it. When you look at it with that perspective, you will not.
Swamiji.
You don't mean anything bad. You are not depriving them. Somebody gives you from the market. You are buying it. You may not know. So nothing wrong in it. We don't blame. That is why here in spiritual journey, the most important thing, even in Bhagavad Gita, he says, never shake somebody's faith. Because it is a self-evolution. God gave us that experience to watch Him and then we get convinced. So we don't do it. At the same time, if somebody wants, we will buy and give to him. It's a different thing. Suppose for medicinal purpose, in many of the Ayurvedic medicine, you have to take it with honey. So somebody is intending, we will buy and give. To us, even if it's a serious thing, we will not take. Suppose we, for example, when we buy medicine, English medicines, we will go through the list meticulously. If there is an element of gelatin or something, we will say sorry. Mind will not permit. It doesn't mean those who are taking it are bad. So this right and wrong is relative, purely individualistic. We should not impose our rights and wrongs on us, others. Okay?
Yeah.
She was asking a question.
Yes?
Well, I was
Sometimes
just thinking
ignorance is
that
bliss.
instead of being hurt that you didn't take it, wouldn't that then give her the opportunity to give it to someone else who would also appreciate it?
Instead of getting hurt, wouldn't she get one more chance to gift it to somebody else? That's what she's asking. One more point of view.
Correct. You can give to somebody else, correct. Now, yes?
I have mice coming in my house.
Right, yeah, come on.
My daughter, she wants me to call someone in to kill the mice because they're in her walls downstairs and she hears them. And I don't feel right doing that. I don't want to kill the mice. So I'm imposing my value on her, and she gets so frustrated, and I hear that mice grow and the problem gets worse, you know? So I don't know what to do.
I can only share what we used to do. Even in Papa's days in ashram and in our own private life also, we have a rat trap. And we somehow induce by keeping some coconut piece or something like that, and it will go, the moment goes inside, it's trapped. Then next day morning, somebody will take it and leave it in the far off place, far off forest. So that we are not troubled by it. At the same time, it is not denied, because God's creation, it has got its own priorities, just like we have our own priorities, it has got their own priorities. When we have this plantation, there will be a lot of pest attack. So they have introduced pesticides, insecticides, chemicals that will kill. So our boss used to say, don't use it. So we use organic pesticide, which will not kill, but which will drive them away. For example, when the garlic, we don't use garlic, but the garlic, when it is smashed and put into the water, and when it is applied, to a very great extent, it helps to ward off all these, down-pulling forces. And another one is neem cake. Like that, God has also brought out. Not that when He creates rats, when He creates pests, there is that's called biological control. He Himself does it. A particular disease comes, but you should have the patience to find out what are the elements for that biological control, and then bring another insect there. The presence of that insect will drive away the other one. It depends upon how we look at it. Everything is His Leela. To shoot, to save, everything is His Leela. But the moment I assume the ownership, the trouble comes. And we ensure that as spiritual aspirants, this is not for pulpit talk outside. For spiritual aspirants, some discipline is necessary. It should go along with what we are trying to develop in our mind. Papa used to say, outer activity should be compatible with inner aspiration. Inner aspiration is to embrace His whole creation. So to the extent possible, we try. Whenever we fail or forget, we intensely pray to Him. One day both of us were away, and then we came back at about 12:30 to midnight. And he goes to the washroom. We retired to our room. From there I can see. Even after 15-20 minutes, there was light and there was some sound. So I called him, what happened? Then he said, a snake got trapped in the septic tank. There, unlike here, probably here also it must be there. The latrine, the septic tank is attached to that. It's called sand pit. We have a pit with a brick, and on the top of it there will be concrete slabs. Directly from the commode, it will be connected. So as soon as he went there, suddenly a snake was there. Out of confusion, it went inside. So it will be in the septic tank. So this man is worried about it, and singularly at midnight he was trying to remove the concrete slab. So we immediately rushed up with a torch. Then we were able to see, what is inside. All that has gone from our body. And then every time when we try to help it, it feels that we are going to attack. So we took a ladder, put a gunny bag over it, and then he was trying to go near the snake. We were guiding him with the torch. Finally it got exhausted, and then probably it might have understood that they want to save me. Then it went and stayed in that gunny bag. We slowly lifted. As soon as we lifted, it just went. The whole process took more than 1.5 hours. So when we say Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, malice towards none, we remember all those incidents, that the quality, care and concern for the co-creations as much as possible. So there are so many, if we have to talk about it, so we will go to the next. Maitra. Maitra means friendship. You will be stunned. See, Don Ritchie, an Australian living by a cliff, has prevented around 160 suicides in his 50 years of living there by striking up a conversation with people attempting to commit suicide and inviting them to his house for a tea. So just imagine, this man is waiting, anybody is coming. See the quality and concern, no? Such a friendly gesture of his changes the heart of such dispirited person, helps them regain confidence and grit to face any challenges of life. What a blissful face he has, As if there is no other job, waiting before the cliff. So friendship means it can be explained in so many ways. Unconditional. That friendship. When we were employed in Chennai, we had to support our parents. So at that time we thought, instead of sending 100 rupees or 150 rupees a month, we will send a big amount so that he can clear off all the liabilities. Not all, at least to some extent. So there is a chit system. I don't know whether you can understand that. 200 rupees a month, you put 30 months, 6,000 rupees. 6,000 is a big amount in 60s. Very big amount. Today 60 lakhs or something like that, you can see. So our salary was 250 and odd rupees at that time. Oh, we thought we would enroll. We asked the chit man. He said, okay, you can enroll. The first 200 rupees we need, So one of our colleagues came to the room. He said, why are you slightly disturbed today? I said, well, you have no problem, You are with your mother and draw salary, spend whatever you like. It's not the case with us. We have to send something. You cannot understand all these things. He said, tell me, na. So I told him, this is the background. He immediately put his hand on the pocket, took out whatever completely, emptied the pocket, kept it on the table. He went to the toilet. We started counting. It was 176. 99% problem solved. So when he came, we asked, That is why we remember him. This had happened in 62 or 63, 60 years back, but still I am reliving those moments. When he came back, I asked him, you did not count. You did not ask me when I will give. Then he looked at me and said, it is your pettiness that is asking this question. When somebody is in trouble, if you have got money, you do it, that's all. There ends the matter. If it's possible, he will return. Otherwise, forget about it. Your petty-mindedness make you to ask this question. Big reminder. No? We are talking about friendship. That means identifying oneself with the other totally. When he is in trouble, that trouble is mine. That's all. There is no prefix, there is no suffix. Why are we telling all these values? These are the ones we keep on stitching together so that it will enable us to widen our... All these things, you have directly experienced. It is not a story, cock and bull story, or somebody tells you something. When you directly experience that, you know how the expansion takes place and in what form it takes place. It can take place in any form, from the tiniest to the grossest. There are so many such incidents by which, Papa's this quotation, all of us should get it imprinted in our heart. The world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. Everything is happening. Our attention is diverted on something else. We don't recognize that He has placed before us, He has paraded before us this particular incident, this particular attitude. Yesterday we were driving. He was driving. I was observing. So when he had to take this way, another one has to take. So he stopped, the other man. He put his hand like this. A gesture. If you are only preoccupied with your priorities, either you will comment or you will go first. What a time he has chosen to come now. These are all the things we minutely we have to observe. Because with the feeling, we are removing that individual. God is teaching us. Not through theories, but through practical experience. So in the afternoon session, we will continue this.